It's midnight and you're tuning into Nightline with me, Liyana Hassanel. The top stories. Australian companies keen to invest 24.5 billion ringgit in Malaysia. And Lesen Terbang comes crashing down as a result of e-testing for learner drivers. Good morning. Major Australian companies have shown interest to invest a total of 24.5 billion ringgit in Malaysia, including expansion of existing investments. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the intention was expressed to him during his meetings with more than 20 Australian companies in Melbourne on Tuesday, the second day of his official visit to Australia.
Dan dalam bidang inilah kita lihat umpamanya kerjasama badan-badan dan usahawan dan pedagang dan pelabur Australia ke Malaysia, dan ini diteruskan dengan sama ada kerjasama syarikat yang sedia ada dan beberapa syarikat baru.
Anwar, who is also the finance minister, said among the potential investments are from data center operators, AirTrunk and NextDC, which plan to spend about 11 billion ringgit and 3 billion ringgit respectively. He also said that mining firm Lynas is keen to invest a further 1 billion ringgit, while other companies that are potential investors include Fortescue, Macquarie Group and Arnott's Group. He stressed that the achievement indicates Australia's interest and their confidence in the policies announced by the government. The amount of potential investments also exceeds an earlier estimate made by the Investment, Trade and Industry Ministry and Malaysian Investment Development Authority, MIDA. In terms of trade, Anwar said Malaysia has recorded potential export sales of over 900 million ringgit to Australia, consisting of products such as urea, timber, food and electrical components. Meanwhile, Malaysia will continue to open its doors to foreign investors looking to expand their businesses and investments in the country. According to the Prime Minister, Malaysia, under his leadership, has implemented clear and effective policies, which has led to unprecedented levels of investment. Hafiz Adnan has the story.
Anwar said that the government is committed to ensure Malaysia will continue to be a destination of choice for investors, including those from Australia, as the nation is a key trade partner of ASEAN. He said this when engaging business leaders and top executives from 18 major Australian companies at a roundtable meeting in Melbourne on Tuesday during his official visit to the country.
It's probably the most stable government with more than two-thirds majority after some years of initial, not to say turbulent, but uncertainties and instability. But now we have used the first few months last year to introduce new policies with clarity, either industrial plan, energy transition, the economic agenda.
After the roundtable meeting session, Anwar also had one-on-one meetings with senior representatives of several major companies in Australia to exchange views and listen to their concerns. The executives included those from the manufacturing sector, medical devices, as well as the services sector, such as data centers, finance and trading. To continue attracting investors to Malaysia, including from Australia, the government has assured it will further enhance the processes involved to facilitate investment and trade. This will also be supported by clear and effective policies, strong bilateral relations, as well as its commitment to improve institutional reforms and governance. Hafiz Adnan, Melbourne for Nightline.
The Road Transport Department, RTD, will introduce the Electronic Driving Test and Training System, or e-testing, in April. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the implementation of this system will allow candidates to undergo the test without the presence of RTD officers in the vehicle. Loke said the candidate's performance would be assessed using sensors and cameras, with results generated in real time. thus enhancing the integrity of the assessment process.
Kos bayaran untuk ujian itu memang sama, tetapi untuk e-testing kita benarkan tambahan RM100 maksimum. Untuk mereka calon yang memilih untuk e-testing, dia IM boleh kenakan charge tambahan maksimum RM100. Mengapa saya kata RM100? Seperti yang saya katakan, dia lebih cepat dan dia boleh buat percubaan kali kedua kalau dia gagal untuk ujian elemen tersebut. Sudah ada kelebihan sedikit untuk calon tersebut untuk memilih e-testing.
He said this after a working visit to a driving institute in Hulu Langat, Selangor, in conjunction with the implementation of the e-testing initiative. Currently, there are 3 driving institutes that are ready to implement the e-testing system, including one in Pulau Pinang and another in Ulu Tiram, Johor. Look added that the implementation of the system would allow more candidates to be tested compared with the existing system, which accommodates about 150 candidates per day. The number of officers assigned to each institution could also be reduced from 6 to 2 individuals. A Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency MMEA helicopter crashed in the waters of Pulau Angsa near Kuala Selangor on Tuesday. All 4 people on board were rescued by nearby fishermen. It was reported that the incident occurred at 9:55 a.m. while the Augusta Westland AW139 helicopter was conducting a rescue exercise. The authorities were alerted to the incident via a MERS 999 call by a fisherman who was near the area where the helicopter made the emergency landing. The fishing boats near the crash area had provided initial assistance to the crew involved. Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, CAAM Chief Executive Officer Datuk Captain Nur Azman Mahmud said the helicopter departed from the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport in Subang at 9:10 a.m. The last contact the aircraft made with air traffic control officers was reported at 9:20 a.m., but no emergency calls were received. The Kuala Lumpur Aeronautical Rescue Coordination Centre at the Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control Centre was activated to identify the location of the helicopter as soon as a report on the incident was received. The MMEA assets that were mobilised to the scene were Guard Boat 25 from the Maritime Selangor, RH-16 and PSC-39 boats from the Port Klang Marine Police Force, and a Malaysian Maritime Dolphin AS-365N3 aircraft from the Subang Maritime Air Station. The helicopter was flown by Lieutenant Commander Tengku Muhammad Nizam Tengku Zakaria and Lieutenant Commander Muhammad Azrul Saidi. Aside from that, an air crewman Warrant Officer 1 John Ibno and a rescue swimmer Bintara Muhammad Nur Hayat Hashim were also on board the helicopter. All victims were taken by a rescue helicopter to the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport at 10:58 a.m. Meanwhile, the investigation to identify the cause of the incident will be handled by the MMEA. Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, CAAM Chief Executive Officer, Captain Datuk Nur Azman Mahmud said investigation into the incident would be conducted by the authority's investigation board alone. In the meantime, the MMEA in a statement sought to clarify that the helicopter made an emergency landing. Its Director General, Admiral Datuk Hamid Muhammad Amin, also confirmed that the helicopter had been undergoing rescue training when it needed to make the emergency landing around the waters of Pulau Angsa at about 9:55 a.m.
Influencer marketing, social commerce, how is the advertising industry evolving amidst emerging trends for sustained relevance? And in the era of digitalization, what strategies are advertisers employing to stay competitive? Money Matters from the Advertising World Congress with Sasan Saidi of the International Advertising Association this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
The government is studying the implementation of a premium salary for technical and vocational education and training (TVET) graduates, with rates starting at 4,000 ringgit as an effort to recognise the group. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said this was being scrutinised through the national TVET policy, which will be launched on 2nd June.
Adakah pihak kerajaan juga telah mengkaji dan merancang untuk mewujudkan akta gaji khusus untuk TVET berdasarkan kelayakan individu supaya diberikan pengiktirafan standing dengan kelayakan akademik lain?
Kita juga melihat dari segi gaji. Gaji terdapat saranan agar gaji premium itu bukan berdasarkan pada minimum wage ataupun gaji minimum, tetapi satu tahap yang lebih tinggi yang dicadangkan ialah 4,000 ke atas. Untuk itu, secara tidak langsung ini akan menggalakkan pelajar-pelajar masuk ke institusi Tibet ni.
He added that through the policy, the government aims to establish only one TVET accreditation centre to avoid confusion. Zahid, who is also Rural and Regional Development Minister, said TVET programs would also start earlier, specifically after Form 3, with vocational and technical colleges to serve as feeders to TVET institutions. During a separate event, Zahid announced that Malaysia has extended an invitation for a representative from Germany to sit on the National TVET Council. He said the industry players from Germany have also offered to contribute in terms of knowledge, experience and technology to the TVET institutions in Malaysia.
Ketika di Berlin, saya telah menjemput daripada Dewan Perniagaan Jerman di Malaysia untuk menghantar wakil di dalam Majlis TVET Negara. Dan duta Germany akan berbincang dengan mereka dan salah seorang CEO daripada syarikat Jerman itu akan dinamakan untuk duduk di dalam Majlis TVET Negara.
He said this to reporters after launching the Industry Advisory Council Summit at the German-Malaysian Institute in Bangi. The Deputy Prime Minister added that Malaysia will be extending more invitations soon to other industry players from several countries that have TVET institutions in Malaysia to sit on the council so as to foster inclusivity. He said in this way, they can not only share new knowledge and technologies, but at the same time, their companies in Malaysia can sign memoranda of understanding to hire TVET graduates with premium salaries, which is also a new approach.
Kongres Ekonomi Bumiputra pemangkin ke arah transformasi pembangunan ekonomi. Anjakan pemerkasaan Bumiputra lebih adil, saksama dan inklusif. Kupasannya dalam Soal Rakyat bersama Timbalan Perdana Menteri Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. Sabtu 9 Mac 5.30 petang hanya di TV3. Juga stream ditonton.
Tan Sri Abdul Hadi Awang has given his full cooperation to police in its investigations over his statement titled The Importance of Upholding Islam. The PAS president had given his statement to Bukit Aman investigators at the PAS headquarters in Kuala Lumpur on Tuesday evening as part of police investigations. Two officers from Bukit Aman's Classified Crime Investigation Unit finished recording the PAS president's statement at about 3:15 p.m. Speaking to the media outside the PAS headquarters, Hadi's Special Officer Muhammad Shahir Sheikh Sulaiman said the process took about 1 hour. He added that Hadi had given his full cooperation during the process with Bukit Aman's Classified Crime Investigation Unit members. Recently, Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, had expressed displeasure at Hadi's statement on February 20th, which was directed to religious scholars, lawyers, judges, members of parliament, state legislative assemblies and the Malay rulers. Datuk Wan Saiful Wan Jan has dodged a 6-month suspension from the Dewan Rakyat after retracting his claim that the Prime Minister had abused his power. The Tasik Gelugor Member of Parliament also apologised to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim and Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim over his remarks, which were made when debating the King's speech in the House last week.
Saya menarik balik ayat tersebut, saya menarik balik kenyataan saya dan saya juga memohon maaf atas kenyataan tersebut. Dan saya dengan rendah diri juga yang betul sebab dalam usul ada sebut mengenai Yang di-Pertuan Agong atas kekhilafan sekiranya menyentuh perihal Duli Yang Mulia Yang di-Pertuan Agong, saya juga memohon maaf dan menarik balik kenyataan tersebut. Terima kasih Yang betul. Saya harap boleh dipertimbangkan dengan baik oleh Yang betul.
The apology was made after he was given an opportunity by Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Johari Abdul to clarify and retract contents of his speech delivered last week when debating the King's speech in the House. Earlier, Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi was set to table a motion seeking Wan Saiful's suspension from the Dewan Rakyat for 6 months over his remarks. However, the Deputy Prime Minister withdrew the motion after Johari said the matter had been resolved with Wan Saiful's apology.
Tan Sri Yang Bertua, saya mohon untuk menarik balik usul di nombor 1 dalam urusan mesyuarat pada hari ini.
Tensions rise over South China Sea disputes. News from the foreign front when we return.
Masyarakat Malaysia rata-ratanya gemar makan makanan pedas dan manis-manisan.
So janganlah macam, okey saya tak nak makan manis, saya tak nak makan manis. So tak ambil langsung. At one point, kita dah fed up, kita akan makan je lah.
Adakah anda penggemar makanan bergoreng ataupun minum kopi secara berlebihan?
Okey, besok kita review pukul berapa? Kita orang akan puasa sampai kita orang makan untuk review tu je.
Terlebih makan, perbincangannya dalam Hello Doktor, Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan juga stream di Tonton.
Wanita Hari. Malaysia di kedudukan ketiga wanita single.
Apa puncanya, sibuk atau selesa seorang diri atau trauma?
Wah, minggu depan kita dah nak mula sekolah.
Seronoknya, jom kembalikan Nostalgia Zaman Sekolah.
Kicap menu pembuka selera.
Macam-macam menu kicap yang menarik, kan?
Wanita sememangnya besar peranannya.
Tak kira siapa pun mereka.
Raikan wanita di sekeliling anda.
Hari Wanita Antarabangsa bersama kami.
Semuanya menarik di WHI TV3.
Skrin sekarang ditonton.
The foreign news. 3 days of negotiations with Hamas over a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of Israeli hostages ended Tuesday without a big breakthrough, less than a week before the start of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, the informal deadline for a deal. According to Egyptian officials, Hamas presented a proposal that mediators would discuss with Israel in the coming days. Hamas has refused to release all of the estimated 100 hostages it holds and the remains of around 30 more, unless Israel ends its offensive, withdraws from the territory and releases a large number of Palestinian prisoners, including senior militants serving life sentences. Israel had thus far refused Hamas demands for people who fled northern Gaza to be allowed to return and for guarantees of a ceasefire and full withdrawal. The Zionist regime is carrying out strikes in all parts of Gaza and has threatened to expand its ground offensive to the southernmost part city of Rafah, where around half of Gaza's population has sought refuge. Gaza's health ministry said 97 people had been killed over the last 24 hours, bringing the overall Palestinian death toll to 30,631. The Philippines on Tuesday called out Beijing for unprovoked acts of coercion and dangerous maneuvers in a disputed area at the South China Sea. A Philippine task force on the South China Sea said the Philippine vessels, which were carrying out a resupply mission for Filipino troops near the Second Thomas Shoal, were harassed and blocked by Chinese maritime militia and Coast Guard ships, which fired water cannons that shattered the windshield of one of its boats, causing minor injuries to at least 4 crew members. It had also accused the Chinese Coast Guard of conducting reckless and illegal actions, which led to the collision between a Chinese and Philippine ship. China, however, laid the blame on its neighbour, saying Philippine ships had illegally intruded into waters adjacent to the second Thomas Shoal, and it had to take control measures. The world is on the verge of a fourth mass coral bleaching event, which could see wide swathes of tropical reefs die, including parts of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, said marine biologists are on high alert following months of record-breaking ocean heat, fueled by climate change and the El Niño climate pattern. Ecologist Derek Manzello, the coordinator of NOAA's Coral Reef Watch, said it appears that the entire southern hemisphere is likely to experience bleaching this year, adding that they are on the verge of the most severe bleaching event in the history of the planet. The last global mass coral bleaching event ran from 2014 to 2017, during which time the Great Barrier Reef lost nearly a third of its corals. Three national pairs show an early exit. Sports right after the short break.
Mengapa tak jumpa kan? Tapi misteri terbesar dalam dunia moden ini adalah kapal terbang anda.
Mungkin belum dapat jumpa lagi lah. It's there somewhere lah.
Lagi mengenai operasi dan menyelamat MH370.
Sebab yang terlibat tu adalah sahabat-sahabat saya.
Isu kadar kelahiran rendah di Malaysia pelbagai faktor ekonomi, gaya hidup dan kesihatan.
Jangkitan penyakit melalui haiwan, kutu hama cacing, jangan ambil mudah.
Ramai yang tidak sedar menjadi mangsa online banking seperti keldai akaun.
Musim panas, kena banyak minum air. Kami bawakan variasi air kelapa.
Juga soal wang, ketelusan dalam proses COD.
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat 9.30 pagi, juga stream ditonton.
Semuanya di TV3.
Bukan rahsia lagi. Tata juara anugerah juara lagu 38 sudah pun diketahui. Tahniah kepada semua finalis atas persembahan anda di AJL paling ikonik. Stream secara eksklusif ditonton dan alami semula kegemilangan Musicaverse AJL 38. Teruskan bersama kami untuk AJL yang akan datang. Kerana juara tidak terhenti di sini.
We're back with sports badminton. Independent mixed doubles duo Goh Sun Huat, Siobhan Jamie Lai crashed out in the first round of the 2024 French Open on Tuesday, delivering another blow to the nation's badminton scene. The world number 12 pair bowed out in straight games 19-21, 16-21 to hosts Tom Jikel, Delphine Derue in more than 40 minutes. Jikel and Derue will face the winner of the match between Hong Kong's Tang Chunman, Se Ying Sweat, and Japan's Kyohei Yamashita, Narushinova in the round of 16. In the men's doubles event, national duo Gozefei, Nur Izzuddin Muhammad Rumsani also hit a snag as they suffered a first-round defeat. The world number 19 duo were outplayed by Taiwan's Li Fangqi, Li Fangjun, losing 19-21, 17-21 in just 44 minutes. Earlier, professional men's pair Ong Yu-sin, Teo Yi-yi's hopes of qualifying for the Paris Olympics are as good as over. This after the world number 12 were eliminated in the first round, losing 13-21, 22-24 to world number 1 Indians Satwik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty. Meanwhile, another pair, Man Wei Chong, T Kai Woon, faced little trouble in clearing their opening hurdle. The world number 18 barely broke a sweat as they wrapped up a comprehensive 21-16, 21-8 win over Kevin Lee T, Alexander Lindemann of Canada in just 25 minutes. The duo will face Satwik Sairaj Chirag next in the round of 16. Football now, the 2023-2024 AFC Champions League. Cristiano Ronaldo returned from suspension but could not prevent Al Nassr from losing 1-0 away against Al Ain in the first leg of their quarter-final clash on Tuesday. Alejandro Sebastian Romero initially gave Al Ain the lead in the 28th minute, but his effort was ruled out by VAR for an offside call in the build-up. With a minute remaining in the first half, the home side went ahead as Sufyan Rahimi rounded off a flowing move from his teammates. Moments later, Al Nassr almost found the equalizer through Ronaldo, but Al Ain's goalkeeper Khalid Asa Mohamed Bilal Said Al Mesmari emerged strong to deny the Portuguese's scorcher. A disjointed second half came to life in the later stages, with Khalid Asa denying Ronaldo again with 10 minutes remaining. Things went from bad to worse for Al Nassr when Aymeric Laporte was sent off in the 94th minute for a foul in the opposition box, causing his team a significant challenge in the second leg in Riyadh next Monday. Coming up, sexual abuse of young girl. Australian man ordered to defend himself.
Masyarakat Malaysia rata-ratanya gemar makan makanan pedas dan manis-manisan.
So janganlah macam, okey saya tak nak makan manis, saya tak nak makan manis. So tak ambil langsung. At one point, kita dah fed up, kita akan makan je lah.
Adakah anda penggemar makanan bergoreng ataupun minum kopi secara berlebihan?
Okey, besok kita review pukul berapa? Kita orang akan puasa sampai kita orang makan untuk review tu je.
Terlebih makan, perbincangannya dalam Hello Doktor, Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan juga stream di Tonton.
Isu kadar kelahiran rendah di Malaysia, pelbagai faktor ekonomi, gaya hidup dan kesihatan.
Jangkitan penyakit melalui haiwan, kutu hama cacing, jangan ambil mudah.
Ramai yang tidak sedar menjadi mangsa online banking seperti keldai akaun.
Musim panas, kena banyak minum air. Kami bawakan variasi air kelapa.
Juga soal wang, ketelusan dalam proses COD.
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat 9.30 pagi, juga stream di Tonton.
Semuanya di TV3.
Bukan rahsia lagi. Tata juara anugerah juara lagu 38 sudah pun diketahui. Tahniah kepada semua finalis atas persembahan anda di AJL paling ikonik. Stream secara eksklusif ditonton dan alami semula kegemilangan Musicaverse AJL 38. Teruskan bersama kami untuk AJL yang akan datang. Kerana juara tidak terhenti di sini.
Welcome back. In Negeri Sembilan, a 47-year-old man has been sentenced to 5 years in jail by the Kuala Pilah Sessions Court for abusing his teenage daughter. The incident has led to the 17-year-old receiving 12 stitches for her injuries. The accused, who is a person with disabilities, was arrested on January 24th after a video clip showing a man attacking a young girl with chairs and an ironing board, among others, went viral on social media. He was subsequently charged with committing the offence at a house in Kendong, Rembau at around 11:45 p.m. on January 23rd. The charge was framed under Section 324 of the Penal Code for voluntarily causing hurt and read together with Section 326A of the same legislation. The father is also facing another charge of raping the daughter. On February 1st, he pleaded guilty to the charge under Section 376, subsection 3 of the Penal Code, which provides a jail term of between 8 and 30 years and whipping of not less than 10 times. In Sabah, an Australian man was ordered to defend himself at the Tawau Sessions Court on charges of physical sexual abuse against a 13-year-old girl in May last year. Judge Rosli Ahmad made the decision after finding that the prosecution proved a prima facie case against the accused at the end of its case. The court set May 3rd for the accused to enter his defence. According to the charges, the 74-year-old Jack Kwong had sexually assaulted the girl at a house in Jalan Mawar, Taman Pikyard between 7:20 a.m. and 8 a.m. on May 20th last year. The charge was framed under Section 14A of the Sexual Offences Against Children Act, which provides for a prison sentence not exceeding 20 years and whipping. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look as the official posters of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games were unveiled at the Musée d'Orsay. The posters featured vibrant colours and striking landmarks in an Art Deco style inspired by the city's flamboyant past. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for tuning in and be well, Malaysia.